Welcome to our YouTube channel. Here are the NBA latest games result, next game's schedule, and the updated NBA team standings as of today.
In the first of 9 NBA latest games results, the Atlanta Hawks took care of business at home by defeating the visiting Miami Heat with the final score of 120-110. Jalen Johnson led Atlanta with a double-double performance with 28 points and 13 rebounds, followed by DeAndre Hunter, 26 points, and Garrison Matthews, 18 points. For Miami, Tyler Hero led the Heat with a near triple-double game of 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 10 assists, while Bam Adebayo added 17 points and 10 rebounds. In the second game, the West top seed Oklahoma City Thunder cruises to an easy 106-94 road win over the Charlotte Hornets. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led Oklahoma City in scoring with 22 points, followed by Jalen Williams, 20 points, and Aaron Wiggins, 17 points. For Charlotte, Miles Bridges led the Hornets in scoring with 19 points, and Vasilij Micic added 16 points. In the third game, the visiting New York Knicks outlasted a gallant stand of the Washington Wizards at home, with the final score of 136-132 in overtime. Jalen Brunson just erupted for 55 big points along with 9 assists, followed by Karl Anthony Towns, 30 points along with 14 rebounds, and Mikal Bridges, 21 points. For Washington, Julian Champagnie led the Wizards in scoring with 31 points, while Malcolm Brogdon added 22 points. In the fourth game, the Chicago Bulls defended their home court as they defeated the visiting Milwaukee Bucks with the final score of 116-111. Josh Giddey led the Bulls with a triple-double performance of 23 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists, followed by Nikola Vucevic, 23 points on top of 13 rebounds, and Kobe White, 22 points. For Milwaukee, Damian Lillard led the Bucks in scoring with 29 points and 9 assists, while Brook Lopez added 22 points. In the fifth game, the Golden State Warriors also took care of business at home, with a 109-105 victory over the Phoenix Suns. Jonathan Kuminga led Golden State in scoring with 34 points, followed by the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry, who added 22 points, and Draymond Green, 16 points. For Phoenix, Kevin Durant led the Suns in scoring with 31 points, and Bradley Beal finished the game with 28 points. For game number 6, the Denver Nuggets gets a home victory over the Detroit Pistons with the final score of 134-121. Nikola Jokic filled the stat sheet once again with 37 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists, followed by Jamal Murray, who had 34 points, and Michael Porter Jr., 26 points. For Detroit, Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey led the Pistons with 17 points each. For game number 7, the Philadelphia 76ers gets a road victory over the Utah Jazz with the final score of 114-111. Joel Embiid led Philadelphia with 32 points, followed by Tyrese Maxey, who also finished with 32 points, and Paul George added 13 points. For Utah, Lauri Markkanen led the Jazz in scoring with 23 points, while Arkababai and Jordan Clarkson finished the game with 20 points. For game number 8, the Portland Trail Blazers survived a fourth-quarter comeback by the Dallas Mavericks to win at home with the final score of 126-122. Shaedon Sharpe led Portland in scoring with 23 points, followed by Anfernee Simons, 22 points, and DeAndre Ayton, 21 points. For Dallas, Kyrie Irving drops his season high in scoring with 46 big points, followed by Spencer Dinwiddie, 17 points. And in the 9th and final game result, the Los Angeles Lakers gets a home victory over a problematic Sacramento Kings with the final score of 132-122. The end of the Anthony Davis returns to the lineup and filled the stats sheet with 36 points, 15 rebounds, and 8 assists, followed by Austin Reeves' 26 points along with 16 assists, while the oldest active NBA player today, the King, LeBron James, did not play in this game. For Sacramento, who just fired their head coach Mike Brown, was led by De'Aaron Fox with 29 points and 12 assists, while DeMar DeRozan looks fired up, finishing with 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. Updated NBA team standings as of today, December 30th. In the Eastern Conference, the Cleveland Cavaliers still on top, with the best record in the NBA this season, with 27 wins against only 4 defeats, and have now won 6 straight games. The Boston Celtics are at the second spot with 23 wins and 8 defeats. Jalen Bronson and the rest of the New York Knicks are holding on to the third spot with 22 victories and 10 defeats, and on a 7-game winning streak. The injury-hit lineup of the Orlando Magic team fighting strong at number 4 with 19 wins against 14 losses, and now lost 2 consecutive games. The Milwaukee Bucks completes the East top 5 with 16 victories against 14 defeats, and on a 2-game losing streak. Climbing up at the 6th spot are Trae Young and the rest of the Atlanta Hawks with 17 wins and 15 defeats, and have won 3 games in a row. The Miami Heat slides down to 7th place with 15 victories against 14 defeats. The Indiana Pacers are at number 8th with 15 wins and 17 defeats record, and have lost their last 2 matches. The Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons are tied at 9th and 10th places, with 14 wins against 18 losses. Up at number 11 are the Philadelphia 76ers, with 12 wins and 17 losses, and on a 3-game winning streak. The Brooklyn Nets are back down at the 12th place, with 12 victories and 19 defeats. At number 13 are the Charlotte Hornets, with 7 wins and 24 defeats, and have lost 7 consecutive games. The Toronto Raptors are at the 14th place, with 7 victories and 24 defeats, and on a 9-game losing streak. And at the very bottom of the Eastern Conference standings are the Washington Wizards with only 5 wins and already accumulated 24 losses. In the Western Conference, the young and talented Oklahoma City Thunder team is still on top with 25 victories and 5 losses, and have won 10 straight games. The Memphis Grizzlies are still at the 2nd spot with 22 wins and 10 defeats, winning their last 2 games. The Houston Rockets are not far behind at number 3 with 21 victories and 10 losses. At number 4 are the Dallas Mavericks with 20 wins and 12 defeats. Completing the West top 5 are the Los Angeles Lakers with 18 victories and 13 losses, and on a 2-game winning streak. The Los Angeles Clippers are at number 6, also with 18 wins and 13 defeats, riding on a 2-game winning run. The Denver Nuggets are down at number 7 with 17 victories against 13 losses. At the 8th spot are the Minnesota Timberwolves with 16 wins and 14 defeats, and on a 2-game winning streak. The San Antonio Spurs are up to number 9 with 16 victories and 15 defeats. Completing the West top 10 is Steph Curry and the rest of the Golden State Warriors, with 16 wins and 15 losses. The Phoenix Suns are down at the 11th place with 15 wins and 16 defeats, and have lost their last 2 games. The chaotic Sacramento Kings are still at number 12 with 13 victories and 19 defeats, and on a 6-game losing streak. At the 13th spot are the Portland Trail Blazers with 11 wins and 20 defeats, and have won 2 straight games. At number 14 are the Utah Jazz with just 7 wins against 23 losses, and on a 3-game losing streak. And at dead last of the Western Conference team standings are the New Orleans Pelicans with only 5 victories so far, and already piled up 27 defeats, and have lost 9 consecutive games. Here are the 6 NBA games scheduled for today, December 30th. In the first of 6 NBA games to be played today, the Orlando Magic will be at home at the Kia Center to face the visiting Brooklyn Nets at 4:30 in the morning. For the second game, the Atlanta Hawks travels to Canada and will play at the Scotiabank Arena against the Toronto Raptors at 7 a.m. For the third game, the Boston Celtics will have home court advantage as they play versus the visiting Indiana Pacers at the TD Garden Arena, also at 7 in the morning. For game number 4, the West top 2 teams collides as the number 1 Oklahoma City Thunder welcomes the number 2 Memphis Grizzlies at the Paycom Center at 8 a.m. For game number 5, the Houston Rockets will be at home at the Toyota Center versus the visiting Miami Heat at 8 in the morning. And for the 6th and final game scheduled for today, Anthony Edwards and the rest of the Minnesota Timberwolves will be at home at the Target Center versus the visiting Victor Wembanyama and the rest of the San Antonio Spurs. Tip-off will be at 9 a.m.